Hello, good evening. I believe that you've had a beautiful day and it's showtime. It's showtime. We'll just get a few more uh, persons' opportunity to be part of the show, and then we will be up and running. Every chain and the fear that held me, I refuse to agree with the lies they told me. I take up my position, speak to all my conditions, take the authority you want to me. The words of love in my mouth to bring about the change. Full of your power, step out, declare aloud your praise. I prophesy, I prophesy. Stepping up to become everything you call me. I believe in your word and your spirit in me. I take up my position, speak to all my conditions, take the authority you want to make. The word of the Lord in my mouth to bring about the change for your power. Step out, declare aloud your praise. Now prophesy. Every second you are taking, I'll praise you. Your power is on me. Yeah, I'll praise you. Never fall victory, I'll praise you. Trust your spirit in me, I'll praise you. Your power is on me. In my mouth to bring about the change, full of your power. Step out, declare aloud your praise. I prophesy, I prophesy, I prophesy. Hello, hello, hello. It's nice to be here. And We'll be kicking off in a moment, and I appreciate the fact that you're with us tonight. If you're hearing us loud and clear, I'd like for you to indicate. I will need to have that assurance that you're getting us live and direct. The audio is good and the video is good as well. That's important to us right now. So, we are going to have a conversation on the subject matter of becoming becoming someone who is highly sought after. And so I look forward to having our guests join us any moment from now. Uh, it's going to be a beautiful time that we will have together here, and we will kick off in a moment. But I'd like for you to stay connected, stay tuned, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after uh, this momentary break as we try to, get our guests to be on the show. Onazi Ochapa Onazi is joining us from Kaduna, and we will also have Benita Samuel joining us from another part of Kanu in northwest Nigeria. So I believe that this will be a value adding evening, and I trust that you will enjoy it and take some value uh, away as well. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back as our guests, make their appearance on the show. All right. So we'll take another commercial, a music break rather. This is not commercial break. We'll take a music break and we'll be right back. Oh, you are God, and we lift you up. We'll keep singing, we'll keep praising, we won't stop. Giving all we got, 'cause you're worthy of all glory. Oh, there is no other. You are forever. Lord, oh, there's no one close to you. To you. Let praise reach down. Every night and day, every love we lay. Let praise reach down. Let's go. Boundless love, like before the sun. Your glory creation keeps singing, Lord, there is no other. You are forever, Lord, Lord, oh, nobody like you, no one beside you. To you, let praise resound. Every night and day, and with no delay, let praise resound. To you, let praise resound. Every night and day, and with no delay, let praise resound. We're giving you our love, love, love for everything you've done, done, done. Oh, we give you all the praise. We lift you up, up, up. We're giving you our love, love, love for everything you've done, done, done. Oh, we give you all the praise. Let's go. Let endless praise resound every night and day, and with no delay. Let endless praise resound to you. Let endless praise resound every night, every night and day, and with no delay. Let endless praise resound to you.
Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Benita.
Good evening. Good evening.
It's nice to have you here. It's
Anytime.
nice to have you. How was your day?
Thank you so much. Great. Happy
Can you
New
hear
Week.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. How
Can
about
you
you?
hear me? Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear
We've been
you.
live for the past. We've been live for the past 2, 3 minutes, and uh, I think our other guest from Kaduna, Onazi, is having a challenge, but we will go ahead all the same.
Okay.
Once he sorts out his network issues, I'm sure he will be on. I see that his audio is muted, but I'm sure he will
Yes.
be with us in a moment. So we'll go right ahead. Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, citizens of the world. You're welcome to Govnet TV, and we're having this special edition as we discuss how you can become a sought after individual in your life and be able to add value to your world. And so this evening we have two guests. One of them is on the show right now. I'd like to welcome Benita Samuel. Benita Samuel is a purpose driven individual who is doing a whole lot of exploits in the city of Kano. As a matter of fact, Benita Samuel is a public speaker, a positive self taught influencer. She's a teacher and the CEO of Benny Expressions, while she offers baking and photography. That's a whole lot packaged in one human being, Benita.
Thank you so
So
much. Thank
you're,
you.
you're,
Yeah.
you're welcome to this conversation we're about to have. And I believe believe that we'll be able to deliver some value to our young people wherever they are. So let's get started. By way of introduction, um, becoming a sought after individual, a sought after professional, does not happen overnight. It is something that is process inclined. It is something that you begin to exhibit after you have planted the seed of purpose and you have nurtured it over a stretched out period of time. And I have always said that the incubation time for anyone who wants to do something of great worth that will outlive him is 7 years. You have an incubation period of 7 years. And lately, I have been talking about the 10,000 hours principle, whereby you practice that same trade 10,000 hours. And for you to be able to attain 10,000 hours, you must have been doing that thing 3 hours every day for 10 years. Then you have attained the 10,000 hours. And quite frankly, a lot of people don't have the tenacity, the drive to wait that long. But if you want to become a sought after individual, this is what you need to begin to think about at this point. We are living in a generation where people desire to get things here, and this is not just addressing those who are, schooled in engineering, in medicine, and in law. You are a professional in your field, no matter what the field is. You define your professionalism by how good you are in what you do, such that when people seek you, they seek you because you are good at it. You're a top notch in that area. And so that's who a professional is by way of definition. So you don't think of professionals from the perspective of skill. And so it doesn't matter what trade you're involving, it doesn't matter what field you're involved in. If you can hone your skill to the level of expertise such that you are, you know, a sought after person, then you're a professional. And so how do we attain that? And that's why we want to have this conversation tonight. And so I want to start by asking Benita Samuel what her first thoughts are with respect to becoming a sought after individual. Benita?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. And to become a sought after professional, I believe that it's a process. It is not something that just starts like magic. Right now, you are here, and the next thing everybody knows about you, everybody hears about you. No, I personally do not believe it's something like that. I believe it's a process. Even if it has
Okay.
to do with academics, you must have had like at least 2 years or 3, 4 years to study that particular course before okay someone can say okay this one actually was in this field knows what he or she is doing like for instance myself I studied communication art for the first year what I was interested in like is broadcasting. Yes, I know that if I study communication art somewhere along the line I'm going to do broadcasting, and I definitely knew that I didn't want to be a journalist. I didn't want to be a journalist like collecting information. Actually wanted to be the one who collects information from them and presents to the world. Now that didn't happen like even as after I finished. So you see, it's a process. I had to finish my first year. And that in my first year, I read a lot of courses I didn't even know. Wow, wow, does this concern what I'm interested in? Second year, third year, fourth year, the same thing. And that is how it has been. You move from that four walls of the university, you still want to know more because every day things are changing. People that are referred to as professionals now are people
Yeah.
that if someone comes, they know that you are able to deliver what they are asking for. They know that you're already authority in your field. So it's not something that is going to happen like magic. no matter who you know, who you have. So you must have gone through a process. Is a step. Start from like an infant, start from crawling before you get to a place of running. Get You crawl, you
Mm,
walk before you can run. And until you start running, people will not actually come to you daily. So there are some persons that just maybe they have connection or whatsoever, and then they just talk about that. Oh, I know this person that knows this person that knows this person. But when it come to you, you have a story to tell them that links them to where you are right now. For instance, maybe when I started, I believe I was going to be a
yeah.
broadcaster. Nothing ever told me that, okay, Benita, you are going to become hey, you're going to become a public speaker. All I wanted to do was just focus on broadcasting. But what happened? As time goes on, I am not broadcasting right now, but I'm actually speaking to the people. And it has opened my heart and my eyes to so many things. So it's a process. You don't become a professional one day. People don't begin to know about you one day and they run after you. No, they must have heard about you from somewhere, heard about the things you have done, and you too must have a story you can tell people like, okay, I have been to this place, I have been to this place. That
Mm,
is why I've gotten to where I am today. So for me, it is a process. It starts from one step to the next step to the next step. So there is no glory without a story. That's what I believe. So wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you believe in, you have a story that will make people actually say, okay, this person knows exactly what he or she is doing. This person has somewhere he or she is coming from. This person has been here. This person has a scar to show for the glory that he or she is enjoying right now. So whatever professional you are or you will become, you must have been through something. So for me, becoming a sought after professional means that you have your own story. You have been through something, you have been through the process, you have gotten an idea, you are now a voice in that field, you're now an authority in that profession. That's why people can refer to you as a professional. So that's what I can say for now.
Thank you so much, Benita, for that incisive introduction to the subject matter. It appears we have Onazi now online. Good evening,
Yes.
Onazi. Can you hear
Good
us,
evening, sir.
Onazi?
I don't think he can.
Okay, I'm sure he's still having a challenge with the
His network.
yes, network from Kaduna. Can you hear us, sir? All right, we will continue. He will get his
Okay.
network sorted as we
Ye-
go on.
Clearly.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening.
Nice to have you
Welcome.
finally.
Welcome.
Yes, uh, pleasure to join you and Benita.
Yes, yes. We
Thank
just
you. Good
started
to see you,
out.
sir.
With the introduction to the subject matter, and I had just had Benita give us a perspective, her own perspective to the subject matter of becoming a sought after individual. So, you have been a professional all your life. I know you worked with the defunct Citizens Bank, and then you went to FCNB. Now you are a manager in a food processing organization. So, okay, he's off again. So, well, when he comes back, we will continue questioning and all that. So,
Definitely.
Benita, uh, what do you think are the basic steps that individuals need to take in trying to become a sought after professional? What are the basic steps that we need to begin to take? A young person out of school, a fresh graduate, or someone who has been, working all of his life, but he has not gotten the right mix of the body of knowledge to be able to be referred to as a sought after person. What are the basic steps the person needs to begin to take?
Okay. The number one thing I believe, and one step I believe that someone must take is having interest. Number one,
You
I
have
believe
an
is
interest.
interest
Okay.
because if you have interest in something, you will, yes, you have interest in something, you really want to go into discovering whatever you can about that thing. But sometimes we want, like from the introduction you gave, we want like immediate result. We want sharp, sharp. We want it to happen right now. We don't want to take time. But there are people who actually believe that if they want something, nothing good comes easy. So once
Yeah.
they're interested in that thing, the next thing they do is get themselves educated. They get themselves educated. I want to know more about this. I want to know what is happening in this place. I want to know why I have interest in this kind of thing. What can it take? What can it do for me? What can I use this thing to do for my generation from where I am? So I need to put myself through. I need to study. I need to learn. I need to get to understand exactly what this is about. Get as much knowledge as you can about that thing that you're interested in, so that you
Yeah.
know the next thing to do. Because once you have interest, you'll be drawn to want to know what you can do, what you can learn, what you can gain, so that you share with the world. Once you get to that place that you gain the knowledge about what you're talking about, whatever it is, the next thing you will do is, you step out with the little knowledge you can, to make sure that you are doing the little you can wherever you are. So as a sought after, someone who wants to become a sought after professional, what you do, that once you have interest in that field, the next thing you do, you get yourself educated. And nowadays, thank God, we have YouTube, we have in fact, we have social media where you can learn from anyone, anywhere, in any part of the world. Now, wherever you are,
Absolutely.
once you have interest in something, you don't even have to go meet them. You just enter social media or enter their DM and then ask question, or attend seminars, attend programs relating to those kind of things. Now you are training yourself, you are educating yourself. That's what I call self-education. So you're
Yeah.
educating yourself. So the first step you must take is the first step that actually makes you take the second step, which is self-education, is interest. That's number one step. Number two is, it's having to educate yourself in that thing. And number three is still education. Yes, because sometimes when we have gotten a little knowledge about something that we like, we okay, okay, we have arrived. Let's start from here. Let's do this. Let's go from here. Let's go further. And this is where we are. Let's do this. Let's enjoy this glory now. Forgetting that what works today will not work tomorrow. What works yesterday
Absolutely.
is not working today anymore, because everything has changed. What works yesterday is not working today anymore. So definitely, what worked today will not work tomorrow. So my first step is that interest. The next step is education, and the next one too is still education. Because once you have learned the first one, you have to relearn again. You still have to learn. Something is amazing. I am baking. I learn how to bake, and then I realize that every time I go on social media, or every time I check some posts, like I've not started though. Look at me, oh, look at where I think I am. I thought I know so much, but I don't really know a lot. Now you know that if you just stay with what you know, then people that know things more than you will come and pass you. Because
Absolutely.
somebody that you trained, who is interested in this thing, will just leave you and go and relearn. Every day you open the social and you open YouTube and you're seeing a new video, like, oh, let me just go with what I know right now. Someone that you have even trained will go there, learn that thing, and then you would see that you even want to learn from that person. So no matter what kind of professional you want to become, what you must know is that education, in fact, is education all the way. Education all the way. To become a voice in your field, to become a voice wherever you're, to be recognized and to be accepted as a professional, you have to be current. You have to stay current to whatever is happening around you in that particular field. You don't want to be taken unawares. You don't want to just sit and somebody will just wake up from nowhere and say something and you're like, what is this? What is going on here? You get. So the basic step I believe is the interest, which actually comes from you. Then the next thing you do is educate yourself in that area.
In that
Educate
area.
yourself, educate yourself again
And
and
again
again.
and again.
Stay current, yes. Stay current, stay current. And another thing is, whatever you have learned, I think I've mentioned like three things. Number one is interest from you. Number two is education. Number four is stay current. That's why I say education is number three again. And then number
Yes.
four is practice. Number four is practice. No matter how little what you have learned is, don't say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Practice it. you see that it will shock you. If you practice it now, you know, when you learn the next one, you add to the little you have known. You next learn another one, you add to it. But when you stay it down for a little, for a minute, for a second, it will shock you that even the one you have learned, you will forget. You won't even know. When I
Yeah.
learned photography, I'm really interested. I love it. My camera's with me every time. Then I got a job in the airport. And what happened? I didn't actually snap with my camera for like close to a year. Except on Sundays, maybe we have program in church, child education, because I was working from 7:30 to 5 p.m. And there is no place to go to from that time. You'll be exhausted before
Wow.
you go home. You know that I forgot the basic way to set my camera. I will
Because you
look
were
at the
not
camera, I will look at
practicing.
I don't.
You were not
Yes.
practicing.
I was like,
Yes, you were not practicing.
what
All
happened?
right.
What happened? Someone who has known me like, this is that, they will call me and say, oh, please give me a minute. So you know that the interest comes from you. Get education, attend seminars, do whatever you can to stay current and then practice. So that's just
Absolutely.
like a little now.
Education actually sums up the entire concept
Whoa.
of um, desiring to become a sought after professional. Let's check on
Yes.
with Mr. Onazi again. Mr. Onazi, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Even if it's working for you with audio, okay, we can see you now.
Yeah.
I'm sure the network has been very tricky at your
It,
end.
it's been tricky.
Honestly.
Yes. So let's just get right into it. What's your thought on becoming a sought after individual by way of introduction?
Yeah. I heard my sister there talking about education. Honestly, I
Yes.
completely agree with her that for one to be a sought after professional, um, a critical ingredient, a critical essential is education, but not the basic type that we all aspire to be.
Conventional education.
Yeah,
Yes.
there are skills that one needs to acquire to put one above uh,
Okay, we're still having connection challenge. Yes, from
Okay.
Onazi. So we will. It's
competitors
actually pretty terrible from its own end.
above contemporary
All right,
I think
all
your
right,
network is
Benita.
really.
Yes, I intend to.
Yes.
I will just
I
mute
think
him
that.
for now until
in
until we can
this
get him to. It's actually
time
very bad from his end.
and
All
Same
right, all
experience.
right. Um, let's go back to what. Okay, from the answer you gave on this concept of education, I like for you to talk about some of the challenges that you as an individual faced while you were trying to, become a professional. What are the challenges and what challenges should people who are trying to, become sought after, what challenges are you saying they would face? What should they envisage by you sharing some of your experiences in terms of challenges of what you meet on ground in the marketplace is different from the orientation that you had from conventional education.
Yes. Definitely, that's very true.
All right. I guess Benita is also having a challenge with her
And
network. All right. We will take a music break and we'll be
oh,
right back. Okay. Yes, you were off for a moment. I was going to ask for a break,
yes,
but
yes.
go ahead. Go ahead with your
I
thoughts.
had a call.
Okay.
Okay, like one
Okay.
of the challenges.
Onazi is here. Maybe we will. Hello, Benita. Onazi is here. Maybe let's allow him have his
Yes.
thoughts shared. Mr. Onazi, can you hear us?
Yes. I was
Okay. So
saying
go
that,
ahead. Yes.
yeah, I was saying that the regular education is the basic
Okay.
foundation.
One of the challenge that I started with was personal.
Okay,
Because some
Benita,
people don't
Onazi
actually
was already on.
yes.
Benita, can you hear me? Onazi was already on, so
Okay.
maybe you were not, you didn't get his audio.
Yes, I can hear you.
Onazi, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So we're
Yes.
about we're talking about various fields in which we could express our professionalism. And I'm saying
Yes.
that education is a principal thing, like Benita said. Um, and once you have basic education, basic exposure and skills in a profession,
Yes.
it the consistent um, learning new skills, learning new methods, and practicing on that area over a reasonable period of time gives one mastery. So to be a sought after professional, one needs to have that consistency such that you come to be known with a sort of brand of service. Um, so I think that necessary education is a foundation, but consistent improvement, in the skills that are acquired are what brings the professional in one. You know that before now, people used to have this apprenticeship, for example. Over a reasonable period of
Yeah.
apprenticeship, whether in legal profession or in fashion design or tailoring as it is in ordinary sense of it, or even in things like artisanship, building. When you work on something for a reasonable period of time consistently, you get to be known, okay? And your personal touch will bring a brand, as it were, to whatever it is that you do. So to be sought out professional, one needs to be consistent in practice. And of course, you will come to the issue of integrity, you come to the issue of you come to issue of where you have a challenge, you need to take responsibility for it, and then you grow and you become recognized for the service and the brand you bring on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So my
this
take
is a
on that.
follow-up. Yes, this is a follow-up question to the answer you just gave. What are your experiences over the long period of your professional career, which is ongoing? What are the challenges that you have faced in trying to become a sought-after professional, especially in our climate, in Africa, in Nigeria? What are the basic challenges you faced and you're still facing? And for upcoming young persons, what should they expect and how should they attend to the challenges as they come? Okay, Onasi, did you hear me?
On
Told me.
what challenge that
Hello. Okay, we still
um,
have challenge.
face these
Benita, are you
days
there?
is
I'm right
finding
here.
Okay,
mentors.
okay.
Okay,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
uh,
Onazi.
prodigy are looking prodigy. Okay, yeah, prodigies are looking for extra youth face today
Yeah.
is finding mentors.
Okay.
Okay,
Finding mentors.
to guide them. Um, Sometimes, if you want to hone your writing skills to find a legal career, sometime the legal career in Nigeria suggested a period of internship, what they call in some general term IT, you know. Some challenge that a lot of youths find or have mentors who themselves have those kind of requisite skills. So if you look around, you might in our times now you just don't find a lot of mentors in take for example current world standard photography is not about
Okay.
the ordinary.
We still have that network challenge from his end. He's making very valid points, but the the
Honestly, the
the
network.
network is actually very unfriendly from his end. And so, you, Benita, you were supposed to share some experiences uh, in
Okay.
terms of
Yes.
challenges. Yes, with respect to
Yes.
your issue of becoming a professional that is sought after.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. One challenge that is very common, but people do not take serious is personal self-doubt. Self-doubt. That's one challenge that people do not take as serious. You
Yes.
think that the most important thing would be finance, or would be I think he's back. So you would think that the most important thing, a challenge that you have, would be finance or whatsoever. But I take it to mean to be, self doubt. Self doubt. So number one challenge that I faced from the beginning was self doubt. As okay, I want to do this thing. Who and who is going to support me? Do I think I'm good enough for them to actually believe in me and accept that okay, I can do this thing, I can snap professional pictures, I can speak well, or I can actually bake good cakes and things like that. While you are in the university, you we actually focus on on the theoretical aspect of it without really taking much
Yes.
time to look at the practical aspect of it. So I like okay, I want to actually go to photography full time, but I was like, okay, who's going to look at me as a lady and say, okay, she's good enough to snap good pictures? Actually, I experienced that. You go to occasion and you want to snap people like, oh, you're a guy, like a lady cannot snap my picture. This one can, this one can, and then you go home and you ask yourself, okay, can I really do this? To me, the first challenge that I had was self doubt before I can even move
Yes.
to talk about financial aspect of it. I think we'll continue that once he's done sharing his point.
Okay. Mr. Nasi, you're back again. The network from your end has been very unfriendly this evening. Can you
Honestly,
hear us? Can you hear us, sir?
okay,
Okay. Um, Benita, continue with making
okay,
your point. I'm sure he will
all
be
right,
back.
okay. So number one was self doubt. Then the second one I had was the financial aspect of it, because you want to learn, or like you be told, okay, you need to pay a certain amount of money for your internship, like you explained. You need to do, and then you look at some of the money they call for you. It's not something you can afford at the moment, and then there's no one you can call to come support you. So that's one challenge. No matter what it is that you want to learn, once it involves money, well, once you don't have that
Yes.
money at hand, it's a challenge, no matter what it is. So you have to conquer self doubt before you can even step into wanting to take the risk of maybe taking a loan, or maybe going to get a loan from someone to actually invest in this thing that you want to do. So it was a challenge. Then the next thing is that even after you have gotten money to learn this thing, people trust, to earn people's trust is going to take a while. It's going to take a while. So that too becomes a challenge, because you have interest in this, you conquered self doubt, and you step out there, took the risk, get money anyhow, and then you learned this thing, and you have on you to you, you're professional, because you have, like like our speaker said, he said that once you have practiced something for a certain period of time, you gain mastery.
Yes.
Now you have done that, you've gained mastery, and now you are willing to share what you have with the people out there, but they're like, okay, I don't think this is going to work, I don't think this person is good enough. So that becomes a challenge in the world that we are in right now. People trust those ones that they know. they've they've been
Absolutely.
used to them, they've been around them for a while, they've paid attention. While I was snapping, I do freelance actually. While I would go to snap on Saturday's wedding, and like, okay, I already have a photographer, I know how he snap, I know his picture, so you're just new in the business, I don't want to mess up my work and all that. So it became a challenge, and like, okay, how am I going to make them trust? So I have to snap and say, okay, just let me print it for you to see so that you know that, okay, it is. Sometimes I will print it. I'll like go say, okay, I like this one, I don't like this one. I just take it. You get, and sometimes later on they will come and like, okay, oh, you the other picture you snap it was okay, I like it. Or the other cake you make was very nice. Why didn't you bake this? I wanted to do this for me. So it takes time. It becomes a challenge. It takes time, like before people can trust you with maybe with their money, or they can trust you
Yeah.
with their business, or they can trust you, even trust you to the extent of accepting your idea and wanting to invest in it. So you definitely have a challenge in place of self doubt. No, some people don't have that challenge. Some people don't have that challenge, but I call it 3 second, 3 second Adino, or 3 second of will this work? 3 second of if
If it
what
will
will happen.
work.
Yes, that's what I call that self doubt. I call it 3 second if. So you have self doubt. It's gonna be a challenge to some persons. You do have financial issues. It's a challenge, and you have getting people trust is a challenge. And another thing would be like, I would say, generally has to do with like everyone. It has to do with everyone having to accept you in the market, trust you with their business, trust you with their money and whatever. So there are other challenges. Sometimes whatever you have learned might be something that you need to go out of the country to study more, and you don't even have an idea of what to do. But thank God for this global era that we I can actually go online and learn and study. But some people still have challenges of understanding how to use their social their technological devices like their
Yes,
cell
that's
phone.
the part. That's the part I wanted to come into to ask.
Okay.
Uh, I don't think they don't know how to use the social media. I think the challenge really is using it for the right purposes.
Reasons.
Because
Okay.
yes, we have more than 35 million Nigerians who are engaged actively on social media. As at the last count by the statistics in January 2021, more than 50% of Nigerians are active on the internet, and that's almost over 100 million people. But on social media, we have close to 35 million, approaching, okay, a little above 35 million, approaching 40 million. But how many of us are using it for valuable, purpose driven activity? And so, how do we transfer, the engagement on social media for young people from just taking selfie, asking questions, how do I look? I know how you look already, so I don't need to know by your selfie. How do I look? And to using the social media as a driver of their purpose, as a driver of as a platform for putting their skills and their capacities out there, so that they begin to practice until they begin to be sought after. Some young people have done that quite well, but
Yes.
the vast majority of our youths are using social media to play, to play. So how do we transfer that energy of engagement with the frivolous activities we engage in on social media to purpose-driven activities?
Okay, that actually is a kind of personal problem, as in, when I say personal problem, because a lot of people, like, even if you tell them, okay, you can use this to help yourself, you can maybe use YouTube to learn, you can use even Google to search whatever topic you want to discuss, or whatever topic you want to study, or whatever course it is you want to study, they still don't believe it's valid. They still don't believe it's valid
Yes.
because of, number one, the concept they had about social media from the beginning. I know I usually, while I was younger, I used to hear that people use go online to look at nude pictures, to look at porn, to watch porn and this and that. And the kind of mentality I had about it was like, okay, the best thing for you to do is just answer call and read your messages.
On
That was basically I thought you
by
can use
using
with
the
your
phone.
phone. Just why use your phone? But if you go online, the next thing that will come to my mind is, what is this person looking at? Is it porn, or is it naked women, naked men, all those kind of things? So that was the kind of orientation I had as a child about social media, about internet as a whole. As time goes on, I started realizing that, okay, people are actually doing some amazing things, and what I actually saw sells most, even right now, are those things that don't even make sense. For instance, like you said, selfie, how do I look? You see that people will comment, you before you know it, you have like 5,000, you
Yes.
see 5K comments, 1 million.
But when you drop a quote
Once they
that will
yes,
make people think,
you won't even have a comment, but the most you can have, maybe is somebody will say, oh, you look good, oh, you look, they won't even look at the content that you have shared. They will only look at the picture that they see. And this is causing a lot of problem. But I saw a lady online, a Viosa. She's into this importation, exportation. She's into this agro farm and stuff. And she said that she wanted to use the social media for her own good. So what she did was she looked for what sold, and that was her posting some close to nude pictures, yeah, posting some
wow,
things that make people, come to her, like
just
they
to
were
drive
following her
traffic to
page.
her
She said
site.
that, I'm telling you. She said she discovered that she, okay, this can work for me. That is because, first, she had an idea of what she was looking for. Secondly, she understood that, okay, she can not only use the social media just to display her pictures and her beauty, but she can use it to earn money, or she can use it to draw traffic to her business, or even get contracts. And she said that she kept posting, even while she would post her business by the side. She would know that that one will not even get two or three, five comments. But once she posts her pictures, post her bombshell, post her this, and everybody will comment. And then while they are commenting, she will introduce her business. From there, now I think she has about 30K every three 30, yes, 300, yes. She has about 30,000, if I'm not mistaken, 30,000
But
followers.
but
That
but
same day that she
that's
was
a very
posting
wrong
her,
way of using. That's a very wrong way
it's a
of
wrong way.
driving traffic,
It's a wrong
of
way, but
driving traffic to herself.
she got she got what she wanted. That was because she had a mindset from the beginning, even knowing that this is
Yeah.
the extra mile she has to go to. According to her, some persons came in and they were asking her, why are you doing it, why are you doing that? She blocked them. And once she has
Wow.
gotten the people that she wanted, she got people interested in her business. She unblocked those ones that she blocked, let them come in and see what she's doing on her page. So I think that honestly, I think that what we need to do right now is re you know restructure our mind towards social
Yes.
media, asking ourselves what we can do with it
Two.
that will benefit us and benefit the society at large. Not just focusing on, okay, what people will say about us, because there's a lot of negativity about it. Like, okay, what will people say if I start telling them about this? If I start talking about this, what will people say? When I started Dibeni Expression Show, it wasn't an easy ride, it wasn't an easy journey. Now I do come live on Facebook when I'm jogging. Hey, good morning, this is what I'm doing and all that, and I will just cook. But when the idea came, that I can actually use this place as a platform. The funniest thing that came to me was like it came like a joke. Like, do you know that this is a stage, like a global stage, like you
Stage.
have been looking for? I'm telling you, the stage you have been looking for to share your message. Do you know that you have the world at your fingertip? Do you know that you have kings and queens at the palm in the palm of your hands? Do you know what massive impact you can do if you can go live on this Facebook and tell them, hey, you are an amazing person. All you need to do is believe in yourself. Now that was when my mindset towards social media was restructured. That was when I
Wow.
realized,
Now
okay, I can
that
actually do something outside just posting normal pictures.
that must have
And now
taken a
look at where
while,
we are.
but you are
It
making
did.
impact with already.
It
All
did.
right.
It did.
I
It
I
did.
think for us to be able to wrap up this conversation, let's look at the end game, the basic objective for why we are having this conversation, becoming a sought after professional. The 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 the, the idea of a young person, because we keep talking about a young person, because for our population we have more than uh, close to 60% of our population are between the ages of 18 to 35, and that's massive. That is also an asset, but if we're not careful it becomes a liability. And
Honest.
it is sad that we couldn't have Mr. Onazi engage the process throughout this conversation. I would have asked him the question I'm about to ask you now. This is a bit tricky. But it lines up with what we are discussing, because a sought after professional is someone who has nation building capacity, because once you're able to touch your local economy, you have an effect on the national scene, more or less. It is a trickle down effect, you know, but in this case, it's from bottom up. All right. And so 2023 is an election year. And there has been a conversation about, around the fact that we do not want very elderly persons to lead us, and that a certain generation of Nigerians have been cut off from leadership, especially those who were born in the 70s and the early 80s. They do not have a place in leadership. And so, the generation that came after those who were born in the 70s and the 80s, the 90s and the millennials are becoming very restless, and they form the bulk of the young people today. And they tell the middle population between independence and now, those who were born in the 70s and the 80s, the millennials are telling us that we gave away our own right to leadership, that they are not ready to give away theirs. And so you see agitations in form of NSAS, you see all manner of social media engagement and all of that. But my question is, how engaged are young people in the political process beyond ranting? I was asking a question the other day. Somebody was, very, very bothered about the fact that the country is going downhill. And I said, how are you engaged in the process? Are you a card carrying member of any political party? You can't change the system from outside in. You have to change it from inside. Now, the people with
Yeah.
power will not give it up easily. And politics is a game of numbers. If you can go in numbers, in large numbers, then we can influence the change. In the last election, we had 80 million registered voters. Only 27 million went out to vote. What happened to the remaining 53 million? They were at home watching TV, posting online, and sharing videos. And some, because it's a day of restriction, some young people went out to play football on the streets. And we want our country to be better, and we don't want to engage in the process. So how would a professional who is sought after, engage the process in nation building, especially as we look forward to another election cycle?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. It went off at the end.
Okay, I was asking, how can the young people today engage the process in ensuring that they work from within in changing the system, especially with numbers, as we head towards the new next election cycle? Because as professionals, we have a contribution to make. Okay, professionals, you may say, okay, I am not interested in politics, I don't want to be involved in the process because it is a dirty game. But whatever decision is made by those who are elected affects your profession in the end, at the end of the day. So how can young people engage, how can professionals engage in the process heading into the next election cycle?
Okay. Right now, I think the issue we're having, which is actually that which we have mentioned, is uh we having the majority just rant, because
Yes.
the majority is actually what will carry the vote, but those majority are the ones just there talking and ranting, not doing anything important. When I heard this talk about having a new Nigeria, I said, "Oh, this is an awesome, mindset. This is an awesome focus." There was actually a question on my mind. Those of us who are asking for a new Nigeria, how many of us actually understands the Nigeria we want? Outside just being a Nigeria that we can afford food on our tables and clothes. How many of us actually understands that? As sought after professionals, or as those who are actually looking at having a new Nigeria, it has to start from our mindset, taking our minds off ourselves to focusing on what people around us are going through. Because if you're going to step into power, if you want to change a certain um let me say a certain community or a group of person, you must have understood what it stands for, understood exactly what people in there are going through. That's why, and I like what you said about them being outside. They're ranting from the outside, so they just see the closed doors. They don't know exactly the decisions that are made inside. So they can, if you want to change people's mindset, you have to actually understand exactly what they are going through, what the group is about, what their challenges has been outside what you have faced as a person. Now, what you have faced will definitely be an example. Then you look at what others are facing. What can you do to actually change that situation? What can you do to make things different? What can you do to actually bring the things that you want to see to pass? How many of us actually have that kind of mindset? A lot of us are actually focused on, okay, the price of things are high. Yes, the price of things are high. Living, in fact, the way of living is actually very high. Things are costly. We can't afford this, we can't afford that. That's what every one of us is talking about. And a lot of us are actually thinking about that, not knowing what decisions need to be made. So my own opinion from this side will be that everyone out there, every one of us should be on the lookout of how we can contribute to make this world a better place, how we can contribute our quota to make this country a better place, make this country the new Nigeria that we want. It's not going to be one person's idea. It's going to be everyone
All right.
involved.
It
Yes, it has to involve all of us. All our hand has to be on deck. So if we're going to actually be able to make impact, be able to get the Nigeria that we want, be able to take us to the leaders of the 80s and the 70s, and then step in as the new leaders of the new Nigeria that we seek, that we have to leave ourselves to focus on the others. We have to leave, our greed, because I think some of the things that actually lock some of us out is what I can get if I get to this position. what I can
Hmm.
do for my family if I
What
get
is
to
in
this
it for
position.
me?
Yes, what is in it for me? And the me takes over the we. That was the sole purpose why others told you you can do this, you can do that. To me, the only way you can make impact, the only way you can make the change, if you don't look at the me in this aspect, if we start looking at the we involved, and that's when we can actually be able to make impact. And secondly,
Impact.
it has to be as many as, like, let's say it's got to be every one of us having the same mindset, having the
Same
same focus,
mindset.
having the same determination, having the same belief that okay, this is what we want, and you getting in there, you pay attention to it. So just like you said, majority that are standing out and watching our life play out, we don't know exactly the decisions that are made inside. Now, and today I was actually in a program. We hosted a coach, one of us from Abuja, who came to talk to us in a group, ladies group that I belong to, ladies and SDGs, and he said something that the decisions that are made, important decisions concerning our lives that are made, are actually made when we are not there.
Not
Those
there.
decisions are
And
made when you are not. You don't
that's
even
what
know what is
happens.
going on behind
That's
those
what
closed
happens in the
doors.
political process. That's what
Exactly.
happens in
So
politics,
we
yes.
are outside, we are shouting, we are screaming, we don't know what decisions are being made, what steps are being taken by those minority inside that closed door. We're just looking from the outside. So it's high time that we will leave, we I me what I want,
Yes.
and try to go beyond just looking at the closed door, go inside to see what we can do. Because, like you said earlier, it's only from the inside that we can change. It's from what we
Yes.
see that is going on inside that we can be able to talk. Now, if one person is inside trying to defend all of us, it cannot beat. Let's say on they have 5 members and one person just trying to stand for all of us. It will be beaten down. It will be beaten down. So I would
Absolutely.
encourage some of us who are actually interested in going into politics to actually start now. Those of us who are interested in going to politics to actually look at, what they can change from the beginning, what they want to actually do, and then believe. No, because it's easy to say you can do, but when you get to that place, when you get to that place, you see the condition of things, you begin to change your mind. So
Yes.
it has to
I
have
think
to do with self-discipline
the
and
orientation
focus.
has to start. The orientation
Self-discipline
has to
and
start
focus.
now.
Yes,
All right. It has been a beautiful time
yes.
engaging with
From
you, Benita. It has been a beautiful time. It has been a very interesting time engaging with you. And I'd like to thank you for taking the time to always be on Gomnet TV. We appreciate you and we look forward to further
it's a
discussions on
pleasure. It's a pleasure.
issues of human development, people development, capacity building, and becoming the best version of yourself. So, thank you so much for being with us. Uh, to our viewers, we want to thank you for sharing this space and this time with
Thank
us.
you.
We will be back with another beautiful edition of this conversation as we keep pushing the narratives in the right direction for the purpose driven, the value adding life in our communities, in our families, in our society, in our nation. And so I want to wish you a beautiful weekend and have a lovely night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and ensure that you stay out of trouble. Thank you, Benita.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. All right. Bye bye.
heart and generation. Sing, let it begin, let it begin. Every tribe and nation, come and join the celebration. Every heart and generation, sing, let it begin, let it begin. Are you ready to turn this place into a Holy Ghost dance party? 1, 2, 3, okay?